Welcome to Designer Glass Mosaics. Here we are in South Charlotte in Pineville, North Carolina. This is our design center, 2,000 square feet. This is where we make all of our custom creative glass artworks. We've been in business since the year 2000, 17 years now, and it's really a second career for both my wife, Sandra, and myself, Tom. Sandra is a watercolor artist and a very successful realtor in a past life. I was a corporate treasurer, so I've been coming out of the finance world. The company I worked for was bought out in 2000, and that left the opportunity for Sandra and I to venture into something new. And we pretty much stumbled onto glass mosaics as a start. And Sandra bought me a small kiln, and we got into the fusing work. It's kind of taken on a life of its own. We started out in the rec room, and that lasted for about an hour. Got some glue on a table, and then I went down in the garage for about 2 years, working in a corner next to the dumpsters. And Sandra bought the kiln and started making little fused glass works. And fused glass is when you put pieces of glass together and then you heat them up to about 1400 degrees, and they melt together. What we do is a combination of mosaic glass work, where we cut the glass into little tiny tiles. We arrange it on a substrate, such as a glass vase or a fireplace surround, and we glue the glass down, and then we finish it off with some grout. And then the other type of glass artwork we do is a fused glass, where we artistically cut the glass, arrange it, and then we fire it in the kilns, and hopefully there's no big bubbles or vitrification or all kinds of things can go wrong. I might mention this is not for the weak of heart, because it's the kind of business where things will go wrong. You try to mitigate those through experience and trial and error. But in terms of background, I mentioned Sandra's a watercolor artist. I'm kind of the technical guy, so we really have a nice combination of skills. She works with the client. She does all the design work. She does all the artistic arrangements. I'd be fine to just do just geometric shapes all day long, every day. Sandra kind of brings some real artistic flair to our work. And if you've seen examples of it, you see the artistry. It's amazing what we can do in glass, and a lot of times we'll work from a photo that our clients presented to us, something they've seen on the internet, or maybe something they've seen that we've done, and they want to tweak the colors, they want to tweak the dimensions. It's funny how, like in any business, you start small, then slowly but surely, as our work got better, we had more interesting projects in our website, and it really caught hold, and people were pushing us all the time. We never knew how to say no to a project, so we took on all projects. I mean, we've done here in Charlotte, we did a 500 square foot water wall in an apartment complex. It's such a large project. I remember the tape measure buckling over as I tried to measure the height of the wall. It was ended up being about 13 and a half feet. I think it was, memory serves me, about 40 feet long, but it ended up being 500 square feet. And we had a couple part-time helpers, and Sandra and I, and another good friend of mine, I need to mention, John Burtis, who he was a corporate attorney in our previous lives, and he volunteers 2 days a week, and he's real helpful, and he'll do just. I asked him what he was good at when I interviewed him, and he said, "I'm taking orders." And I said, "You're hired," and so he's been really helpful for our almost from the conception of Designer Glass Mosaics. The water wall project, we fabricated it here in our shop. In the backyard, we've got 4 large work tables, and we would do a whole section a day, maybe a 13-foot by 3-foot swath. We put tile tape on the top of it, and then we bundled it all up. We lugged it all up to the site. We actually did an installation. We all had to have hard hats on, and it was just something that was totally out of our box. But and we got one professional tile setter, Scott Sills, that helped us out. And remarkably, a bunch of newbies working with one experienced tile guy, we were able to fabricate the wall, and it was a real showpiece. It has water cascading down at the scenery. Sandra did the design work. It's a beach scene with the turtles. That's kind of famous in North Carolina, the turtles laying their eggs and then walking back down to the seashore, and eventually all the little turtles come walking behind. So that's on the larger end of our projects, and on the smaller end, we do a lot of, I'll call it charity work or donation. We've done, tiny little tie tacks and cufflinks and little pendant lights that we've donated. So like I said, we just never know. Whatever our clients bring to us, we take on. Probably our most famous work is the backsplashes that we do, and typically we do like a feature artwork over a stove. It may be a beach scene or a floral bouquet, or maybe just a geometric design, fleur-de-lis come to mind. We do a lot of toy related artwork, and again, it's the kind of thing where we get a few of them on a website, and people see them and they say, "Oh, that's kind of interesting. I like dogwoods, and let's see what they can do." And eventually, it turns out to be a project. Some of our more challenging projects are working on a barrel wall where we had to curve the tiles around the wall, so we needed to make very, very thin tiles so they would take that curvature. My background is math, so I kind of revel in the I mentioned Sandra does the artistic design. Well, I do all the kind of the layout and the execution design. What materials do we need? How do they need to be cut? And you always want to be mindful of the fact that most of our clients, first of all, we never see them. They're outside of the area. Even though we're in Charlotte, North Carolina, we have a lot of clients in Texas, a lot of clients in California, a lot of clients up in the Northeast, Florida, and we've even have some clients in Australia. We've shipped to Trinidad and Tobago, Canada, Mexico. So as a byproduct of our glass artwork, we've gotten really, really good at shipping. We pack our own product. We'll oftentimes build crates. We'll put our work on a pallet, eliminating the possibility that somebody might inadvertently throw it off of a conveyor belt or something. And there's nothing worse for both us and our client to have a work get their damaged. So we've got really, really good. We won't say we haven't had any incidences, but we've certainly mitigated them by packing ourselves. And we go the extra mile to make sure it's safe. And I guess our attitude is nobody knows our product better than ourselves. So we feel better packing it than sending it to an outside packer. The website's our main marketing tool. Our son and daughter have been instrumental in that. And it's really, we get probably 400 page hits a day. And like I said, you just never know where your inquiries are going to come from, but most of the time they're from the website. One of the most rewarding parts of this business is our clients. Invariably, they're all wonderful people. We love working with them. We love to see their enthusiasm, and quite frankly, we get caught up in their enthusiasm. And we want them to be as excited as we are putting it together. We love the interaction, and again, a lot of the clients we've never met. So the interaction is really just passing back digital photos of what we're working on, or maybe a video or something. We tell our clients they can be as involved as they want. Some of them want the total element of surprise. Others like to see every piece of glass you've cut and where it's going to go. The fact that all of our work is custom is really what keeps us motivated. We'd much rather do 10 different things and have somebody say, "I want 10 of that one thing." And then it becomes more production work. But we really like the challenge of the uniqueness and the customization. We've done some scenes recently where we embed seashells that our clients have found on their trips to the beaches. And you can't get much more personalized than that. And so they'll send us a bag of seashells, maybe some sea glass that they found on the shore, and we'll make that part of the design. We've got examples on our website. Again, it's all in an effort to make it really special to them. And they should know it's very special to us too. It's amazing when we look back to see all the work that we've come out of this 2,000 square foot design center. But I guess at the same time, it's amazing what you can do when you're putting in as many hours as we do. We work just about every day. I mean, sometimes it might be just coming in and changing out a cam. Other times, we work into the evening hours. Again, we always say to ourselves, right or wrong, that we don't have to work, so it's all by choice, and it really is. It really gives us a great sense of enjoyment. Sandra is excellent with the design work. It's amazing how she can put together a watercolor rendering for a client, and it's so beneficial to have like a meeting of the minds, again, particularly where our clients are outside of the area. They don't, we never see a face-to-face, so it's really important that we put a design in front of them, and then our job is to make sure that the actual art piece, the glass art piece, replicates the design. And I think there's some side-by-side examples on our website of Sandra's rendering and then the actual art piece, and it's really amazing how closely they resemble each other. So that's kind of our challenge. Hopefully you get a tour of the facility, you can see the types of work. The diversity is really incredible. I mean, we were always pushing to come up with other ideas. I mean, we do, I mentioned the bread and butter business is really our backsplashes, but we've done murals, we've done furniture, mosaic furniture, where we've taken a vanity and stripped it down and done a mosaic overlay on top and grouted it, sealed it, and you end up with a really, really custom piece of furniture. We do pendant lights, we do mentioned the furniture, wall panels, murals. I'm probably most excited about our murals because we can do a large scale project with fused glass. If we had a 3 foot by 5 foot mural, it wouldn't be one piece of glass. It would be a compilation of a series of tiles, and it's how you arrange those, and how you deal with the seams, any of the design elements going across the seams. I think it really sets us apart from what others may be doing. We want it to look like each piece was like a part of a puzzle rather than like an afterthought. And if you look at examples on our website, you'll see where we can do a large scale mural that looks, it looks like it was all done at once, and in fact, in our minds it was. Oh, another thing we do is, I mentioned the charity work. We work with some local charities. We work with the Allegro Foundation here in Charlotte. A lot of times at their annual fundraisers, we'll donate, a piece of our work, or we'll make some departing gifts, or something that is beneficial to the organization, or in terms of fundraising. We also work closely with a group called the Relatives, which is a crisis center for youth. And probably the most enjoyable aspect of what we do is we have the kids come in once a year and they make the centerpieces for the fundraiser. They usually have about 50 tables, and we make 50 centerpieces, and the kids turn into artists for at least a half a day, and they working with glass, and we've got them all with goggles on, and because anytime you're working with glass, it's sharp. We haven't had any instances, but the kids really enjoy it, and we really enjoy it. Then we try to get the kids in around maybe a month before Christmas and allow them to make some Christmas ornaments that they can keep for themselves. And we find that very, very rewarding. John Burtis, who I mentioned, that works with us a couple days a week, he became so attached to the Relatives. He's now a very active board member, and it's just a fine organization in Charlotte. Another thing that brings us joy is we do workshops. I think in total, we've probably had about 500 people through our workshops. We've done them here primarily, but we've traveled to Texas, we've traveled to Cincinnati, Chicago, a couple other spots that don't come to mind. So we've taken our show on the road, but mostly we do them here. And it's just a wonderful opportunity to get local people, and actually people from afar. We've had people come from the West Coast and also Mexico City for workshops, and we do anywhere from 1 day to a 3 day workshop. And probably my most interesting workshop story is the 3 day mosaic class. There was a lady from, I think it was West Virginia, and a lady from somewhere in the Northwest. It might be a remote island off of the Washington coast, I'm guessing a little bit. And I remember them remarking during the workshop that they were going to enter their piece into the local state fair. And I thought nothing of it, and time passed, and lo and behold, like 2 months later, I got a email from one of the ladies, and she said, "You won't believe it, but my piece won a blue medal in the West Virginia State Fair." I thought that was kind of interesting, and good for her. And I ended up actually putting it in the website. But lo and behold, the next morning, I got another email. I got an email from the lady out in Washington. She said, "You won't believe it, but my piece won Best in Show in the state fair." And I said, "Well, that's really a nice conclusion to it, a nice story. So they're both on the website holding their pieces, which they're very proud of. It's one thing I found about the workshops is really brings out the personality in people, and it's just incredible to see how they apply it to their work. And some are just pay so much attention to detail, and others just like can put it together really quickly. So we just enjoy all kinds, and we try to we offer whatever assistance we can while they're working. And I mean, it's almost like a therapeutic session, not just for the students but for us too. It's just very peaceful environment, and I guess bottom line is just nothing more rewarding than being creative. And the nice thing about working with the glass is that they've got something it's tangible, and it's not like they're baking something that's going to be eaten and it's gone forever. I mean, they've got something that can last forever, and we have a lot of people locally that come back month after month, and just because they don't have kilns, and it's almost like they like the camaraderie, and we like their camaraderie as well. So anyways, we enjoy what we do, and I guess we both kick ourselves that we didn't start it 40 years earlier, because it's really been very rewarding for us, creativity wise, and we think the prospects are good for the business, and we kind of see ourselves going with the housing market to some degree. Not only new construction, but when people are remodeling and they're looking for something special, that's when they're searching around on the internet, and they're finding us. They'll email us. We'll call them right back, and if we can ever get people into our showroom, we've almost never gotten somebody in here that hasn't walked away with an order, because there's a lot of eye candy here, and there's nothing like seeing it. And what I always say to people, if you like the photos, you'll love the actual work, and that's so true. I wish Sandra was here to put in. I think she would kind of mirror basically what I've said, but she's home right now doing a design for a lady that has an apple orchard and out in the west somewhere, and we're doing a mural for over her stove. She's got to incorporate apple trees and sunflowers, and that's kind of the theme. And I think we're doing some coordinating accent tiles for her as well. So it's just another Saturday here at Designer Glass Mosaics. So I had a friend in working on a piece, and I'm back there kind of get like the prep chef, getting stuff ready to Snyder to come in and put it together, and then we'll put it in the kilns and melt it, and hopefully finish off the project. We're very busy right now. It's I guess like a lot of business, it's a feast or famine business, and a kind of roller coaster. We got slow at the end of the year, and now we're starting to build to a crescendo, and I guess maybe we'll have to take on some help there's only so many hours in the day we can work, but so we enjoy what we do, and we hope you enjoy the works through our website, and anyone and everyone is always invited to come here. We're not open to the outside world, but if you let us know you're in the area, we'll make a point to be there, and you're certainly welcome. We'd love to give you a tour, and there's nothing like seeing it. It's almost more interesting to see the works in process than the finished works, because you can see how we put them together. And we just completed speaking of that, an interesting backsplash project for husband and wife in Virginia, and it was all by phone calls and FaceTime and tape measures, and we did the whole backsplash based on measurements that we kind of like went back and forth on, and it's always picking backsplashes, allowing for the cutouts for electrical outlets. So we zeroed in where all those were, and I think it was about 30 square feet of backsplash. They did a really nice subway tile and stained glass, and we had some little pillow tiles to bring in another little dimension. They're kind of raised from the rest of the field. Now we did them in panels. We worked on tile backer board. We had to have everything. It's the kind of thing where it's great if the measurements are great, meaning it'll fit like a glove. If something's off, it breaks down really quickly. Well, in this case, everything was virtually perfect. There was a couple little tiny adjustments that needed to be made, but I was so thrilled when I got a phone call and a video from our clients, and they kind of did a pan across the backsplash. And I suggested they first do a dry run to make sure everything fit before we started gluing things up. And they did that, and I was just kind of taken aback at how nice it looked. First of all, they picked the color out. I sent them a couple samples, and they made the right choice. And it just, like I said, fit like a glove. And I think they're putting the finishing touches on this week, so that'll be on the website soon. But we like success stories, and our clients, some of them we don't hear from for years, and they come back and say, "Well, I moved. Your piece sold the house, and I want to do another one." And I guess that's the most flattering, the highest form of flattery that we can receive is when someone comes back for a second or third order, and we've got clients like that. So again, thanks for your time, and welcome to Designer Glass Mosaics.